Okay. Okay. Oh! Hey, how's it going, everyone? Today I wanted to demonstrate 5 different unique teams with Yvetal, even though most of them are Yvetal Melmetal Core. I just want to see which team I enjoy playing with the most and which matchups cover, which Pokemon cover each other in the best combination with the meta. And also I'll be using different Pokemon just if you really want to use Yvetal but don't have Dialga but you have Melmetal, or have a Mewtwo and not this. So I'll be using unique Pokemon in different combinations so that maybe someone out there that has limited Pokemon could use at least one of these teams. So let's get into it. So our first game using Dialga, Yvetal, and Melmetal. I'm gonna say this now. This team was probably my worst performance. You're gonna see why. It's a combination of mistakes, like not shielding this Earthquake here, as well as just a bad combination of Pokemon. But this is all, you know, a learning lesson anyway. You know, this is good to see, you know, which combination of Pokemon work and don't work together. This trio especially, all weak to Melmetal. I mean, Dialga loses to Melmetal, Yvetal loses to Melmetal. Not badly, but it does lose, and then Melmetal against Melmetal is a neutral matchup. So Melmetal against this team is pretty strong. So even if we see like Melmetal in the back or in the lead, we're going to struggle. But we try, you know. Also, we kind of debuffed ourselves, so we kind of made a mistake here. We should have switched out. I think if I didn't throw that Rock Slide, and then I'm forced to shield the Dark Pulse here, I could have maybe caught this on my own Yvetal. Now he has a shield up. Being shields down in Masters, it's very difficult. The only reason you might want to be shields down is if you have energy, but I didn't have that either. So very bad here, and I probably should have baited there. So me throwing that debuffed Rock Slide, which, you know, was an obvious no shield, is pretty much the reason why I'm going to lose this game here. But even so, it was very close. It was very close. Like a couple more fast attacks or a few more here and there, I could have maybe turned this around. But next game, I'm like, hey, this is a good lead. This is great. But we actually saw this team 4 or 5 times yesterday, and you're gonna see why it's so good. So they pre-damage my Dialga with Giratina, then they switch in their Dialga, and I'm like, alright, easy clap. I'll just grab a shield, bait the Draco Meteor, and then switch to my own Melmetal here, so that I can, you know, keep switch. He damages me with Thunder here. I'm like, okay, he's probably not gonna shield. I can throw a Rock Slide, I can throw Superpower immediately. Now this is the beauty of the thing. Now that I'm deep, my Melmetal is debuffed, his Giratina can just straight Shadow Claw me because these Rock Slides are debuffed and they're not going to do that much, and the Shadow Claws are going to do way more, so he can farm me down a lot easier. Now this Giratina has close to 100 energy, and I'm like, okay, you know what, Dialga's gone, I can just sweep Yvetal with 2 shields, but he has Togekiss in the back. So it was a very smart play, switching out the Dialga to bait out the Melmetal, to bait out, you know, the steel types that, you know, would counter Togekiss. So very strong team. We do almost kill it here with the Iron Head, but we're pretty close. I feel there are win conditions. I feel maybe shield the Melmetal and like hard predict the team. But yeah, GG's. Definitely gonna try that team out later. Going into the second team, switching out the Dialga for the more versatile Zekrom. So now we are not so weak to Melmetal anymore. Thank you, these nuts, for letting me steal your team. So we get a Superpower in, and we try to catch an Earthquake or Superpower on the Yvetal, baiting out, you know, the like the hard Dragon hitter, basically. We can either switch out to Zekrom to bait Dialga, or to the Yvetal to do that. We generally just bait here because in the 1 shields we can kill this. If I if that was an Earthquake that we tanked, we would have been able to get to this Focus Blast. So we don't, unfortunately. But we took out Zekrom's big counter there, so now we can just kill this with our own Melmetal. Probably could have thrown a bit earlier so we don't take this Draco Meteor, but that's okay. He ends up actually switching to his own Snorlax there, which is actually better because we take the full damage of the... he takes a full damage of the superpower there. But at this point, I remember I was kind of worried, and honestly, I thought I was going to lose the game. But luckily, he does shield this. And also, luckily, we did farm up to 2 superpowers. So if he does shield this, which he does, we're able to pretty much kill this with our own superpower. Because the Excadrill is extremely squishy. And we are able to get to our 3rd superpower before he Dragon Breaths us down, despite being debuffed. So, just like our previous team, his team was quite weak to Melmetal. But yeah, GG's. Now, this is where things get really interesting. If you guys haven't noticed, I have a 14 attack Melmetal. And this is purposely to lose CMP on the mirror. And because I actually won CMP, I knew it wasn't CMP because his had to be lower, which lets me take throw 2 in a row and forces him to switch out. Although I feel he could have double rock slided and then switch out to grab his shield. But I feel he kind of just panicked with all the superpower damage I did with it, and I was able to get a Focus Blast on the Dialga because I figured he doesn't want to be 2 shields down, he wasn't going to shield. And now at this point, I can just Dragon Breath down with my own Dialga and keep all the energy for whatever he has in the back. I decide to shield this, thinking, you know what, let's keep him quite healthy. Let's start using our shields. Could be a superpower as well. And it is, in fact, his own Yvetal. So literally the same team that we actually started with, except with Melmetal in the lead. And yeah, another reason why it's not that good. It's quite weak to our own Melmetal. Not having Hundos doesn't matter. Having 14 high stat product, high attack, that, it doesn't matter. What matters is knowing how your IVs will affect matchups, right? So I knew there, my 14 attack will lose CMP, right? So if I threw my move, I know it didn't CMP. I know it didn't CMP because I was expecting to lose CMP. I knew it wasn't CMP, which means I could throw the second one. And I threw 2 superpowers there, back to back, knowing that I was assuming the second one was going to CMP, but then he didn't do that. And then I switched to Yvetal after he shielded, and then that's how I landed my Focus Blast, because you don't want to be 2 shields down. So, what I'm telling you guys is, knowledge of your IVs and how they affect the game is more important than having the best IV. That makes sense? Rank 1s doesn't matter. If you have a rank 50, you gotta know what that rank 50 can and cannot do. So, there you have it. Hundo's not necessarily important so long as you know the matchups correctly. Going into the 3rd team, switching out the Zekrom for Mewtwo and putting it in the lead. We decide to wait for him to throw Brave Bird and then throw the Psyshock after he's debuffed, but he switches out, being shields down. I decide to go into the Melmetal here against the Lugia, even though this has pretty good matchups against the Ho-Ho, and even though the Yvetal beats the Lugia pretty handedly, I didn't want to take any resisted... I wanted to take only resisted damage. I didn't want to potentially shield any Sky Attacks or Aeroblasts, so I decided to switch in Melmetal. And I ended up getting the shield back, and I do have 2 Psy Strikes ready here. He goes for the Brave Bird here. I wanted to you know, throw the Psy Strike after he debuffed, but he switches out, and then I throw my Focus Blast immediately, hopefully making him think it's like a CMP, or like he thinking it's catching a move, and I decide to catch my move instead. Honestly, I thought that was going to be a Brave Bird, so that's why I looked very surprised there, because all I wanted was for him to get debuffed once by a Brave Bird, and then I can kill it with Psy Strike. But actually catching the Earthquake there, and basically forcing him to throw energy there because he can't double up, gives me the game. So GG's. Next game, we go into Kyogre here, which isn't great. He does win if he shields. I mistimed my moves here. I should just throw it at 10, and then the waterfall wouldn't have sneaked in. But we do grab a shield here after he lets us throw both of them back to back. So at this point, I feel I just let this go. I grab the shield. That's one of the Yvetal counters. So I'll just farm this down with my Melmetal. Then he comes in with his Dialga straight into my what do you call it? My Melmetal, which is really surprising. And after he shielded the superpower, I'm like, you know what? Let me just switch out now. Get this Focus Blast. It's gonna take too long to get to 2 superpowers, and I'm gonna take too much damage after I debuff myself. So let's just switch out. Shields are down for the Focus Blast, and this is actually good because if I stayed in with my Melmetal, I would have had no answer for this this Togekiss in the back. So now that shields, you know, are they're still down, I'm able to pretty much take back the lead in the game here. I am expecting him to switch, so I just keep Thunder Shocking. But honestly, I think a couple of Thunder Shocks would have killed him regardless. So this is actually my own team that I made. Every other team was kind of copied from other streamers and some other content creators. So I figured there's so much Melmetal Yvetal core, and something that breaks that core is Kyogre. Kyogre beats Melmetal in every shield scenario, and it beats Yvetal in every shield scenario. The problem of this team is that it loses hard to like the main dragons in the lead. So you kind of switch to Yvetal, try to bait it out or something like that, and then Togekiss can sweep. But luckily, after damaging it with the Dragonite with Yvetal and farming it down with Kyogre, I basically force out the Steel type early, and basically throw all my energy into it. And obviously she doesn't know that I have Togekiss in the back, so after she switches here, she realizes that she used the wrong Pokemon here. But yeah, I mean, there's nothing you can do about that. You can have bad reads, and this is like the second day of Master League, so it's hard to know and figure out people's teams. So very, very close game here. But I did get a little bit excited, and I maybe was a little bit rude in her chat because I got a bit excited from the win. So GG's. Next game here, we're going to get a Melmetal lead. So like I said, a lot of Melmetal lead, a lot of Yvetal lead, which is why I feel the Kyogre is really good here. I'm assuming he's going to superpower eventually and then switch out. But we can basically just stay in, and this is the hardest counter for our team, so we don't really need to worry about it too much after it's gone. He comes in with the Mewtwo here. We can probably just sack this, let it go, and then come in Yvetal, and then Togekiss is gonna have a really good time now that the Melmetal is pretty much gone. I was a little bit worried, so I decided to shield the Focus Blast. And I'm glad I did, because I would have had a really rough time against this thing here. I decide to no shield whatever he throws at me, because if he baits me with Earthquake so that he doesn't debuff, it won't do damage. And if he does throw the Brave Bird, he does end up debuffing himself so that the Togekiss can actually do some work with the charm. So it was like a win-win scenario for me, not shielding there. Definitely the right choice. And then after he Brave Birds again, I'm easily able to charm it down. A bit of a mistake here. I go for the boost, but honestly I should have just gone for the extra charm and not let him sneak any moves. But it was a very close game regardless. Final team here, stole this one from Toe Technical or Wholesome. Well, both of them used them. So I quite like this because the Lugia safe switch, very strong with the new Dragon Tail buff. He switches in Mewtwo here, so obviously we go Yvetal, hard counter. He does land an Ice Beam, which almost kills us, but we still survive it, and he doesn't really survive any of these Dark Pulses. So we can get switch with even shields here. Come in with the Lugia against this, against the Kyogre, and then he switches out Dialga, and I'm like, all right, cool. I got my Melmetal exactly where I want him. I decide to basically, this is how I normally play my Melmetal Dialga matchups. I like to throw Rock Slides until one debuffed superpower kills. That way I don't really get hurt. I don't get hurt from the debuff damage after throwing, and if he shields the first superpower, the second one will kill. But because I took so long, he actually caught the second debuffed superpower, and at this point I'm in a bit of a rough spot here because I think he still has energy. I think I misplay here. I should have thrown the Sky Attack before the Surf, and then I think I would have killed it and would have still had my shield and a bit more health. So I basically put myself in a pretty bad spot here, and this is going to be much closer than I wanted it to be. One HP missing, chat. You don't need hundos. 1 HP missing from my IVs, 1 HP remaining on my Pokemon. It's fine. So final game here, and once again we saw the Giratina lead with the Dialga safe switch, and at this point I am predicting Togekiss in the back, so I'm like, you know what, I am just going to go for switch here, because if I don't, I will just lose. The Togekiss will kill my Yvetal. I go for the shield here, which is actually huge, because now he probably won't get to a third charge move, although I do understand why he throws Thunder there, because most Lugias just don't shield anything, go for the Aeroblast and try to take shields, right? But because I shielded that, I'm able to get to a third Sky Attack before he can get to his third charge move here. So we successfully win switch, which is really good, assuming there is a Togekiss in the back. Assuming. It better fucking be Togekiss in the back, because otherwise I just tried so hard to win switch for no reason. Togekiss in the back. We beat this team. We finally beat this team. Holy shit, man. There's maybe one team that caught your fancy. It's like, oh, I actually have a Melmetal and a Yvetal and a Dialga. Oh, I have a Yvetal, a Melmetal and a Zekrom. Oh, I have a Yvetal, Melmetal and a Lugia. You know, maybe you have some of these mons and you can try them out. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. And I'll see you in the next one. And I also wanted to see, you know, which fuck. What was I gonna say? I also wanted to see if anyone, you know, fuck. It's fine. I'll just cut it out.